Good afternoon to those who listen. It is May 2nd, 2018, 12:33 p.m. And I got some more Israeli news from ILTV News and more updates on possible war between Israel and Iran. There's a lot ramping up with, we know that Israel has fired missiles at Iranian bases and have actually killed Iranians in the process, and Iran has now stated that they are going to retaliate. And with the news from yesterday that Netanyahu now has powers to declare war without going to a vote, it's kind of scary with everything going on. We got the May 12th deadline for the United States to accept or back out of the Iranian deal. And obviously Israel doesn't want this deal, and I don't think the United States does either. And with all the proof that Netanyahu has against Iran and their secret nuclear program, it could be headed for something, and it could be headed for something really soon.
Today, a top Iranian official has just promised a swift and decisive response to Israel's recent activities in Syria. Earlier this week, missiles struck a Syrian base where potentially dozens of Iranian nationals are believed to have been killed. Israel has remained mum on any involvement, and Syrian state media initially blamed the United States, but top U.S. officials say Israel led the operation. ILTV's Brett Allen Smith is here. And Brett, here's the big question on everyone's mind. Are we looking at the beginning of a war?
Well, that's something Israel certainly isn't going to say out in the open. But if you ask a lot of people, then yeah, that is kind of where some of these paths are pointing. Now look, it's nothing new for Iran to threaten a military response like this, right? But right now, Iran kind of has bigger fish to fry because, of course, we're less than 2 weeks away from President Trump's deadline to either renew the JCPOA nuclear deal or else dismantle it, as he so often threatened to do. That's kind of the big question.
Yeah, well, from the look of things, I'd say most people's money is on that latter possibility, that he'll withdraw the U.S. from the deal. And in light of Prime Minister Netanyahu's bombshell reveal on live TV of intel that was allegedly taken from Iran's nuclear archive, the White House now has this to say.
Well, the problem is that the deal was made on a completely false pretense. Iran lied on the front end. They were dishonest actors, and so the deal that was made on things that weren't accurate. And we have a big problem with that, particularly the fact that Iran's nuclear capability were far more advanced and far further along than they ever indicated, which if this nuclear deal maintains as it is right now, when the sunset provision hits in 7 years, they will be much further along in the process and and able to make a nuclear weapon much quicker than they've ever indicated before. And that's a big...
So this could very well be the beginning of the end of the deal.
Right, okay, so let's talk about that, because ironically, when a lot of people watched Netanyahu's reveal, for them it actually worked totally against his own arguments. Press Secretary Sanders' statement about Trump's concern that a 7-year expiration date is on the line, that's a big problem for them. But if Trump pulls out of this deal on May 12th, then that expiration date may come literally the next day, and that's exactly how former Secretary of State John Kerry feels about it. He says if you blow up the deal, then we're back to where Iran was in 2009 tomorrow. And others compare this to the same logic that brought the United States into Iraq, which is now seen as a fairly disastrous war for all parties involved. So let's see how that argument plays out.
If Colin Powell was right about the intelligence he was presenting, it would have bolstered his case. Prime Minister Netanyahu, if he is right, is bolstering the case for the JCPOA. He is describing the reason that we needed to have this agreed set of restrictions on Iran's nuclear program. He's describing the reason for the invasive inspections in Iran.
Well, that brings me to the bottom line here, because if Israel knows that blowing up the deal will most likely put Iran back on a path towards nuclear arms, then it'll have no other choice than to go to war. So maybe that's an unavoidable scenario either way. But for Israel to be 100% sure that Iran doesn't develop the bomb, is there any other path besides war? I mean...
Look, if there is an alternative, neither Netanyahu nor Trump have put it on the table so far. Because again, we have even the former head of the Mossad backing the claim of the IAEA, who says there is no credible evidence at this time at all that Iran continued to develop a bomb after 2009. Now, it may have held on to this archive, which originally it developed in 2003, which, yes, potentially means Iran did obscure the true intent and the extent of its progress. But without a plan B in place, the world is obviously very anxious to see what's going to happen if and when Trump decides to topple this deal.
Well, obviously, we will be following the coming days very closely. Thanks for joining us, Brett.
Of course.
Wow. So, I mean, it definitely looks like this could be possible, a war. And I could definitely see a possibility where Israel uses a preemptive strike to stop Iran from being able to attack Israel. So we will have to see. Remember, God is in control of everything, but we need to keep our eyes on this. There's a lot going on over there, and all these dates are coming. May 12th, May 14th. They're all coming fast. So just pray and keep an eye on what's going on. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. God bless.